Good morning, everyone. I will now call the hearing to order. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. This morning, I will be chairing the hearing. My name is Robert Hutchings. On my far left is Mr. Buss. On my direct left is Ms. Rempel. And our secretary today is Ms. Balshaw, and the assessor representing the City of Winnipeg Assessment and Taxation Department is Ms. Godez. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that applicants or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by this Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following their swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by cross-examination by the applicant, and then the panel members, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by cross-examination by the assessor, and then again the panel members. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions based on evidence presented here today. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. And please, out of courtesy, can everybody please turn their cell phones off while in the hearing here? And no cell phone use is allowed at the witness table. And just as a side note, I know it's difficult to park sometimes, especially with the construction around here. So if you have to go and put more money or reload the meter, just wave it at us. We'll keep track of you, okay? All right. Thanks, Kara. Could you swear in both parties, please?
Please state your name. Do you swear the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Mr. Leslie, will you swear in?
Yes.
Please state your name.
Kenneth Thomas Leslie.
Do you swear the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel today? Is that for both properties or just the first one?
That's the first one.
Okay.
Thank you. Morning, Mr. Leslie.
Good morning.
First property on the docket today will be 77 Edmonton Street, Unit 1006. Ms. Godez, if you need a moment to review anything, but when you're ready, please proceed. And we're dealing with the realty value for 2019.
Right, so this is a high-rise apartment style complex. It's located in the Broadway, Assiniboine neighborhood. It was built in 1986. It's 12 stories high with 173 residential units and 5 commercial units. The amenities to the complex include a fitness room, outdoor pool, and sauna. So this subject is located on the 10th floor. It is 828 square feet, 2 bed, 2 bath. It sold in 2016 for $218,000. Was not on MLS. The comps are all in the same complex. They are basically all the same size in the 816 to 876 range. They're all 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. The only difference is comp number 1 has a enclosed balcony. and they range in price from $228.49 to $256.58. The subject is $252.42 a square foot, and based on that and the subject sale, I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valdez. Mr. Leslie, any questions on the evidence presented by the assessor?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Goddess, did you have an opportunity to inspect the subject?
No, I did not.
Did you have an opportunity to inspect any of the comparables?
No.
This is, I believe you say this is a condominium project, correct?
Yes,
Built in 1986.
correct.
Are you familiar with the concept of a capital reserve?
The condo reserve?
Capital reserve.
No,
You don't know what that is?
no.
We've exchanged some information through emails.
True.
That's correct?
True?
And that information spoke of significant capital deficiencies with respect to the property.
Correct.
Okay. The reference date for 2019 is April 1st,
2016.
2016. Your comparables, all sales are prior to January 1st, 2016, is that correct?
That's the closest I could find. For the size. We can use 2 years worth of sales.
But you have nothing in 16,
No, or I would have had it,
right?
except for the
There is
subject
no,
sale.
right. All of the units don't have central, or they have wall units, is that correct?
That's correct.
Those are all my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Leslie. Mr. Buss, any questions of the assessor?
Yes. Do you know exactly when the sale took place in 2016? Was it prior to April 1st?
Yes.
The reference
No,
date?
it wasn't, sorry, it was June. It could have been prior, but it hit LTO in June.
Do you know anything about the sale? You said it wasn't.
No,
on
it wasn't on
MLS.
MLS, no.
That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Buss. Mr. Rimple?
I have no further questions, thank you.
Ms. Goddess, would you have any information on the parking situation for the subject in each unit? Are there, do all of them
We
have-
don't record parking, it's not,
Okay, so you don't know whether there's underground available attached to each unit or outdoor
no,
surface?
I
Okay.
don't.
Okay. That's my only question. Thank you. Mr. Leslie, when you're ready, please.
I have provided a copy of my submission to the board. It's quite extensive, and the reason for the quantum of documents is this is a property that was built in 1986. I'm quite familiar with this property because at the time I was the court-appointed receiver and took possession of this particular property, and I sold it to a gentleman from Ottawa in, I believe, 1989. At the time, it was a rental property, it wasn't strata title. Subsequently, I believe it was then strata title and sold to unit holders. So it's 1986, 2016. It's 30 years old. What you have in the package is a report. I apologize, I didn't number the tabs. It's the tab that it starts with a fax confirmation sheet to Ms. Goddess, and it's the Colonnade Building Assessment Report prepared by MMP Architects in conjunction with Wolfram Engineering.
Mr. Leslie, are you referring to this Xerox copy?
Yeah.
Okay, Xerox Work Center 5335 on the top of the page, first page. Tab 2, I guess it is.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
This report, quite extensive report, documents the capital deficiencies with respect to the subject property. The report, at the top of the report, it shows that it was printed in November of 17, but the condition of the building, I would submit, existed in accordance with the report at April 1st, 2016. Unfortunately, my client wasn't aware of the contents or the fact that MMP had been engaged to prepare this report, and I'll send you right to the last page of the report. So we go to the last page of MMP's building assessment report. At the very bottom. And the deficiencies are all encompassing. The parkade, the roof, the envelope of the building, the electrical, the elevator, the HVAC system, the generator. On the last page, it's page 49 of 49, and I'll read, total project estimated $3 million to $6 million based on selected finishes and repair. What has happened now, and it is in tab 1, is a letter to the unit holders dated November 30th, 2017. At the reference date of April 1st, 2016, there was a capital reserve deficiency. The capital reserve are amounts that are included in the common element fee as an estimate against what capital repairs to the building are required. It notes that the directors have approved a special assessment in the amount of $400,000 for the period of January 1st to June 30th, 2018. The subject property, and there's a schedule in that tab. And the special assessment in that tab for unit 1006 is $2,524. That's for 6 months. There will be another special assessment for what they believe to be at least that amount. And they'll also indicate in that report that they intend to complete all the capital repairs necessary for this building to continue to function in the future. And I estimate that per unit, over the period of 5 years, it will be between $5,000 and $6,000 a year, and a total of $30,000 over the 5-year period. These are not improvements to the units. These are improvements to the building. Attached to the property manager's report in tab 1, it's marked as page 1 of 4. In the third paragraph, this is from the president's report, and he details the status of the property.
Okay, you lost me here, Mr.
Okay, so we're in tab 1,
Towers,
towers.
Realty Group, okay?
Okay, there's 2 pages summarizing the status, and then a page starts the colonnade president's report.
Okay, thank you.
The second paragraph reads, the increase in the operating budget is 21%, 21.05%, the majority of which is a 75% increase to the reserve fund contribution as recommended in the reserve fund study. This is so that over time, they can make up the shortfall. So the common element fee, which is the unit holder's share of the common element in the building, there's also a charge that goes into the capital reserve. Now, the intent of the capital reserve on a sale of a unit is that there would be sufficient monies in that reserve fund to cover capital repairs on an ongoing basis. Clearly, they don't have $6 million in their capital reserve. And on a sale, the amount that's credited, that's in the capital reserve for a particular unit holder is credited. But that doesn't deal with the special assessment. The special assessment of 25 to 24 for the first 6 months, with the intent that it's going to be every 6 months for the next 5 years, totaling approximately $30,000. And in the third paragraph of that page, the president makes a particular statement at the end of the third paragraph. Fees are rarely reduced and directly affect market value. They do not want to distribute this information in the marketplace because, as the president states, it significantly impacts market value. On the very last page of my binder, if you will call it, my submission, is a photocopy of a page from the Real Estate News. The date of it is Friday, April 6, 2018.
Again, I'm sorry, I can't.
It's the very last page in the package.
Okay,
That's it.
okay, thank you.
First column, second one down, 204 77 Edmonton Street. Listed for sale on the MLS at $144,900. That's more than $60,000 less than the subject.
Yeah, Ms. Scott has any comment on it?
Yeah, that's
Presented by-
post-reference,
Okay.
and it's also 620 square feet.
I thought I'd get that out of the way right away.
Right.
Thank you.
I understand it is post-reference, and it is a smaller unit. And I'm not going to compare what they've listed it for and the assessment value. But what I will state is the condition of this building was in this state April 1st, 2016. People just didn't know about it. And what I'm suggesting, based on the special assessment that they have estimated in these reports, that the subject property's assessment should be reduced by $30,000. And how I get that number is I take the special assessment for unit 1006, that schedule that's attached to the tower's president's report of 2528 for the first 6 months.
Okay, so we're in the Towers Realty Group.
We're in the towers.
And your work copy is
Then-
on.
then-
Okay,
Then behind the towers report is the president's report.
okay,
There's 4 pages. There's a budget statement. There's some verbiage. Then there's a schedule of the common element fee by unit, which for 2018 has increased by 21%, the majority of which is for the capital reserve. And then there is a schedule for the first, it says, the Colonnade 77 Edmonton Street, special assessment, January 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2018. And when we get to unit 1006, the special assessment for 6 months is 2524. So I go 2524 times 2 is 5,048. They've already indicated that the 2524 is going up, but I'm just using that number. I multiply that by 5 years, I get 25,240, and then I multiply it by their estimate of what the costs of construction are going to increase over the 5-year period is between 15 and 20%. So I use 17.5%, and I get $29,657, which I have rounded to 30,000. I can tell you that in discussion with my client, that if they had been aware of this information when they purchased the unit in 2016, they would not have paid $218,000. In fact, it's not likely they would have bought the unit at all. The reason they wouldn't have bought the unit is because they were already in 305, which is going to be the next item on the docket.
okay. For the record, could you please state what value you're asking for? You've got the reason what you're allowing, but just for the record, please state.
179.
179,000. Would you mind telling me how much that is a square foot, please?
$216.
Okay, approximately $216. Thank you very much, Mr. Leslie. Ms. Scott, has any questions of the appellant?
Yeah, just to go over, I understand that there was a special assessment for $400,000 from January 1st to June 30th of 18, which worked out to 2528. And that was for waterproofing of the second floor plaza deck, I believe. And then,
I believe the number is 2524.
okay.
2528 for 305.
Okay, sorry. And then there's another one, July 1st to December 31st of 18, for another $400,000, which works out to the same amount again. But I believe all those had to be paid in 2018, did they not?
correct?
Okay, so as of 2019, there's nothing owing. There's work that needs to be done.
The work is ongoing.
Okay, but from what you sent me in your president's report, to cover capital expenses pending over the next 4 to 5 years, the building envelope will be completed in 2 phases. And it goes on to talk about the one phase being 1.2 million. From my understanding of this report, they don't have a finalized amount. This is all speculation right now. They have not told the unit holders that you are gonna get a special assessment for $5,000 for the next 5 years, have they?
I believe they
Do
have,
you have it written?
no, I don't have it written,
No,
but what
because
they
it's
have,
all
what they have.
speculation in
No,
here.
it's not speculation. What it is a projection of an estimate based on.
An estimate.
Right,
So for
it's an
2020, I can definitely see us doing a special assessment. But we don't have any evidence right now of what the dollar amount's gonna be.
For 2019,
Yeah, 2018's paid, they have to pay that.
right?
There's nothing owing 2019 as far as I know right now.
Well,
I
we're
spoke
not
to-
in 2019,
You're appealing 2019,
correct?
right? Well, that's what we're talking about. The value for 2019.
Correct?
Okay, so I spoke to Rebecca at Towers Realty, and she said, quoted, "Beyond the 2018 special assessment, they have no definite amount for the future special assessments, except to say that they will be happening." So until I can't go on speculation, I can't go on could be, would be. I need a definite. How can I give a special assessment when I don't know what the total amount's gonna be?
It's not speculation.
It's not, I don't have a figure.
I believe the architect would take umbrance with your word speculation. I think what, I believe the property manager confirmed to you is there will be a special
Yes.
assessment. What they don't know is what the amount will be. But what the president confirmed in his report, it's not going down, it's going up.
Definitely, I totally understand that. In your president's report on page 3, states that design work is required prior to a more accurate costing being made available. The project is scheduled for tender and will be awarded in late 2018. At this point in time, the total amount is unknown, and the current sales, there's no mention of any special assessment. So I can't go,
I don't understand that last point. Current sales?
what's going on in the market right now, there's no projected current assessment in there, special assessment. So people looking right now do not know.
Right, but you've just confirmed that it will go to tender, they
Yes.
don't know what the value will be,
Right.
and you've also confirmed that there will be a special assessment once the tender has been awarded.
Yes, I totally agree with you, but I can't give a special assessment on a number I don't know yet. Do you understand?
Would a willing buyer buy this property knowing that there's going to be a special assessment, knowing that the amount will likely be higher than the 24 that was awarded twice in 2018? You've already confirmed that there will be a special assessment.
I wouldn't buy it if they say likely to me. I want to see figures. I want them to tell me this is what you're gonna pay for the next 5 years if you buy it.
And that's why we're here.
And I will
Because
look
the-
at it in 2020, but for 2019, I don't have any figures.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
I'd like to sum up.
The panel's going to ask you questions first, Mr.
Okay.
Leslie,
Sure.
but you'll certainly have your opportunity, okay? Ms. Rempel, any questions of the appellant?
Yes, I'm wondering, does the president issue an annual report with regards to the state of the condominiums to the owners?
He issues his report after the board meeting.
Okay, so
So
is
there's
there
an annual report, and I believe, there's a lot of information here, I understand that. But in his report, they will report again to the unit holders in the fall when they have awarded that tender. And at that point in time, they're going to tell all the unit holders how much the special assessment will be for 2019. They have already told all the unit holders, you can expect this to happen, and we're evolving as we go along. We're not awarding $6 million of contracts in 2017, and then the work is going to progress. It is so much work that it's going to progress over the next 5 years, and as they get better estimates that are contained in the architect's report, and those estimates will be confirmed by tender. But what they do say in the architect's report, you can expect that over the next 5 years, construction costs will increase by 15 to 20%.
May I-
They're doing this work.
I understand that. May I ask, was there, you had indicated that the deterioration of these condos had been going on for some time. This isn't something that happened overnight.
Right.
Was there a financial report issued in 2015 that spoke to this, prior to this owner purchasing this unit?
No,
Have
There
there
was-
been any special assessments in previous years?
not that I'm aware of, but what I did confirm is the capital reserve had a deficiency in April 1st, 2016.
If the financial plan is not, I don't understand what you meant by it not being publicized, because it might affect the market value. Does that mean it's not publicly available, or does that mean it's not available to the owners of the units in the condo?
It's only available to the owners of the units.
So they're aware of that information?
They're aware of all this information.
And they were aware of that information in 2016 when this property was purchased? Because
The unit holder was not aware because they had not conducted the study. The study was done in 2017.
But the unit owner has lived in 305 previously,
Right,
so that was prior to 2016.
right.
So that unit owner conceptually had been receiving the reports from the president of the board and from the condo committee on a regular basis.
Right, and in those reports, he detailed that there were some issues, but not to the extent of, those issues escalated to the point, I believe this was the particular property in the news, where the elevator was out of commission for an extended period of time. The standby generator that would operate the elevator has since been replaced. So the condition of this property deteriorated over time. It was built, confirmed in 1986, and in 2016, the building is now 30 years old. There were issues with the building, but nobody knew the extent of these issues until they engaged MMP.
Thank you, those are all my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Rempel. Mr. Buss, any questions?
Well, to continue on with that, these reports or condo meetings that take place, those are all available to potential purchasers, I believe.
Correct?
You can go back, well, in fact, they have to supply them, I think, by law. So if these things were being talked about at meetings, potential purchasers in 2015 would have known. Would you agree with me on that?
Well, they would be aware that if they looked at those reports, that there may be some issues with the building. My statement was, the extent of the capital deficiencies was
Yeah.
not known.
The exact amounts, et cetera, certainly, they hadn't figured that out yet, but.
And I would also submit that a purchaser, unfortunately, is not that sophisticated and would look particularly at the unit more than they would look at the building. I doubt any of them went on the roof. If they got it if they got in the elevator and the elevator worked, then that would be the detail of their inspection. They would look at, I'm sure the listing agent would show them the amenities, the pool, the exercise room, all of those things. But are they looking at the electrical, the fact that the walls leak where the air conditioning units, wall air conditioning units are? That because of that leakage, it has deteriorated the balconies to the extent that they have to replace the balconies and the railings?
Well, those things would be obvious, right? Windows and doors, bedroom windows, balcony doors, condo balconies, railings, those things would be obvious to a potential purchaser.
Well, the replacement of the windows, and you'll read it in the architect's report, is that the extent, they're doing the building envelope for efficiency purposes
Yes.
and waterproofing. And in doing so, this was a building that was built in 1986. Well, windows in 2016 are much more efficient now, and so it's much more efficient to replace the windows at this point in time than they have threshold issues that cause water problems.
I understand. Thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Buss. Okay, Mr. Wesley, let's look at, I would like to find information on a 2016 sale, although it might be post-reference. It was a private sale, is that correct?
Yeah.
And the present owner lived in the building previously, sold their unit, am I understanding this? Or
They purchased in the building in 2013,
okay, and then
in 305.
Okay, and then they purchased this larger unit, possibly, or higher up unit?
It's higher up.
Okay.
I believe it's the same size.
Okay.
And they, one of her sons moved into the unit, well, actually, I believe both her sons moved into the unit in 305.
Okay, so it was bought privately for $218,000.
Correct?
There was no real estate agent involved in COM3 or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Are they involved with the board at all in that building?
No.
Okay.
There are, the individual is the national sales account rep at the Winnipeg Free Press.
Okay, so my question is, for capital projects to go ahead, the board would meet probably monthly. The president comes up with a report annually.
I believe in this situation, they're issuing reports twice a year.
Okay, and they would have to approve any capital expenditures. Is that right? The board?
Yes.
Okay, and they are responsible for making sure that the
Capital reserve?
capital reserve is in a healthy situation.
Yes.
Okay, and would it be fair to say that they ignored this impending maintenance in a 35-year-old building by not? Maybe that's unfair for me to ask.
I would suggest that you probably have new unit holders coming onto the board who over time have expressed their concern with the ongoing maintenance, what they refer to as maintenance issues, the capital reserve deficiency, and that you've got an individual or individuals on the board who finally acknowledged that there was a significant issue and addressed it. I can tell you, I don't know that for sure, but from my experience, whoever's the president of this board now, and if you read his report, which is in quite detail, this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
I understand the dilemma with, we are dealing with the 2019, and it's an April 1st, 2016 reference date.
But we are required to look at the physical condition of the current physical condition as it were on the market in 2016.
Right, and that's really my submission.
Yeah.
Whether the reports came after, the fact is that the reports confirmed that was the condition of the building on April 1st, 2016. And I think a willing buyer, being aware of this information, is going to discount that price by the amount of the estimated special assessment, at the very least.
Okay, so when you say there was a deficiency in the capital reserve, what do you mean by that? There wasn't enough to cover this,
$6 million bill.
okay, but were they in the red, for instance?
No, they're not, they weren't in the red, they had
Okay.
some money in it.
They're not allowed to be in the red, is
They're
that
not,
right?
that's right.
Yes, okay. Legal.
And what they have done is that, I refer to that the common element fee, which is separate, that's the amount that you pay for garbage collection, snow removal, maintenance of security, all those things that relate to that percentage that is owned by the condo corp and is charged to the tenants. They've increased that for 2018 by 21.05%. Most of that increase relates to building up the reserve.
Yeah.
And on a sale, what happens is the reserve is attached, a portion is attached to the unit holder, and that reserve is transferred to the purchaser.
Okay, and you stated, no, I'll put it this way, you have experience in the real estate world, much experience. Would any condo or seller be required to declare a special assessment coming in a listing? Is that the law?
If I was the purchaser, I would request right in the document that all of that information must be divulged. And if it was withheld, the deal would be null and void. And I would, or what would happen is the sale would probably close because the purchaser wants it. And then when they became aware of it, they would then sue the vendor for damages in the amount of the special assessment. And I would expect that they would be successful, plus costs.
I know we're being hypothetical here, but just as if a homeowner sells a house with structural deficiencies, I believe that's against the law now, is it not?
I believe
So
I believe they've increased the representations that a vendor is obligated to make.
Okay. Now, would that be not applicable for a condo? So when you made that a comment about current listings aren't reflecting anything to do with this special assessment, it puts up a flag.
I believe the price reflects that.
Well, actually, okay.
I know it's a
post-reference,
small, I know it's a post reference, and it's a smaller unit on a lower floor, but it's 144.9.
but- Yeah, but when you do an analysis, it's actually close to the assessment value of the assessment.
I would suggest that,
A little bit lower, but.
I would suggest the whole building is overassessed. You might see me back again next year.
Okay, that's all my questions, and you're asking a reduction of,
30,000, which I believe is a conservative estimate. The value is still at 179 is $216 a square foot for a condominium that was built in 1986.
okay. The last question is, the assessor provided the four comparables selling from about $230 a square foot to $257 in 2014 and 2015. Are you, would you think that none of them were aware of what was the coming capital costs that were coming to the
Yes.
building? You would say that they.
Well, I
they're all
confirmed,
aware
I
of that.
confirmed that my client was not aware of it, that there was this significant bill coming their way. She stated that to me.
And you're asking us to reduce it to $216 a square foot from $252. Okay. That's all my questions?
I'm
Of
sorry,
course,
may
no,
I
no, you're
have
good.
one more question? I was just reading this report from the president, I believe it is, that you have tabled, and, yeah, the president's report. And in it, it says you had mentioned the elevator, that there were problems with the elevator and it had to be replaced. And I noticed in the report here, it says that the rental expense for the temporary generator required by the elevator mishap is being covered by insurance. And it says certain mechanical and electrical components may also be covered. Do you know what those are?
I believe.
This is the third paragraph from the bottom of the president's letter. I'm just wondering what costs insurance may have covered as well.
I don't believe that they're material to the estimate. They're still looking at, and in his report, they're looking at a minimum of 25, 24, every 6 months, increasing with inflation. They've factored that, any insurance, but it's not material to the estimate of $6 million.
3 to 6 million, is that not correct?
But I think
3
they,
to 6 million?
but I believe they have provided further information. And that cost of estimate is if you look at the first page of the architect's report, they refer to it as a Class D cost estimate. Class D is not as good as Class A, meaning, and when you get a range of 3 million to 6 million, that's a Class D. We don't really know until we start putting it out there. But I believe they have, in the report, talked about some better numbers where they're going on page 3 of 4 of the president's report. The foundation, roofing, membrane, and remediation, that's 1.220 Class D estimate plus 15 to 20%. And then phase 2, envelope and balcony membrane, 4.5 million, Class D estimate, plus 15 to 20%. So they're at 1,220 plus 4.5 million is 5.72 times 1.175, $6,721,000. So the 6 million estimate in the architect's report is low.
So just to get back to my question, do you believe that the insurance that was provided to this condo committee was included, or do you know it was included in the cost?
I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Scottis, any requirement for a summary?
I would just like to state that for the 2009 assessment, we don't know what the value is going to be. At the bottom of the MMP architects, it says total project cost estimated 3 million to 6 million. That's such a wide range. We can't just pick a number out of a hat. We need actual documentation of what it's going to cost, and we don't know that at this time. And I'm not saying for 2020 there won't be a special assessment, but if there's going to be a special assessment, it should be in the whole building, not just 2 units. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Leslie?
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, the President's report already confirmed that there will be a contract tendered this fall, and for 19, there will be a special assessment. They don't know what the special assessment will be because they haven't awarded the contract. And the final point is, the special assessment is not just on 2 units. You have in the package attached to the President's report identifying all the units and what the special assessment is. Unit 101 gets a special assessment of $46.68 for the first 6 months of 18. Unit 102 gets $6,500 for the first 6 months. Everybody's paying their fair share. We're here to determine what a willing buyer would pay a willing seller at April 1st, 2016. And I would submit that if the willing buyer had this documentation, I don't think they'd buy the unit. And so I believe my estimate of $179,216.18 per square foot for the subject property is eminently reasonable. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Leslie. That concludes 77 Edmonton Street, Unit 1006. Before we start the next property, 77 Edmonton Street, Unit 305, is everybody okay with their parking so far? If you need to slip out, okay, go ahead and slip out and extend your parking. Okay, and we're gonna do Unit 305, 77 Edmonton Street next. Mr. Leslie, you've documented in the previous unit the problems with the building. May the panel and the assessor assume that the argument is the same regarding the deficiencies in the building, except there's gonna be specific adjustments applied to the Unit 305?
No, the argument is exactly the same. You have the same documents.
Okay.
The only document that's different is the covering page notice from the city clerk's department that there will be a hearing, a copy of the application authorized by the unit holder, and the unit off the Winnipeg assessment website. Other than that, exactly the same.
Presentation regarding deficiencies of the building, okay? Ms. Cortez? You
Same,
don't have to go
yeah.
over that, okay?
Yeah, it's the same. It's
Okay.
all the same issues.
All right, so we'll consider the same comments, questions, and asked and answered regarding structural deficiencies of the building. Okay, Ms. Cortez, when you are ready, please.
So this property is located on the 3rd floor. It's 828 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms, open balcony. Once again, the special assessment and the comparables, they're all in the same complex. They range from 816 to 876 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. They have the same amenities with the exception of Comp 1 having an enclosed balcony. They range from $223.99 to $256.58. The subject is $242.75, and I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Leslie, any questions of the assessor?
Yes, Ms. Gardner. Did you inspect the subject?
No, I did not.
Did you inspect any of the comparables?
No, I did not.
Did you look at the documents on any of the purchases of the subject or the comparables?
The documents
The
as
purchase
in
and
the,
sale document.
no.
Those are my questions.
Thank you, Mr. Leslie. Lisa, any questions of the assessor?
No, I have no questions, thank you.
Mr. Buss?
Questions, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Leslie, when you are ready, please.
I am not going to repeat
Thank you.
what I said before, other than Unit 305 has a special assessment of 25.28 for the first 6 months of 2018.
Sorry, we are in
That's
tab.
that's attached to the president's report. That's the schedule of special assessments that has been provided. The first schedule is the common element fee for 2018, which includes an increase of capital reserve. And then there is a schedule behind that. It's kind of on a darker page, and it says special assessment January 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2018. The amount for 305 is 2,528. So 2,528 times 2 for 2018 is 5,056. Based on the president's report, another 5 years of that is 25,280, multiplied by their estimate of inflation for cost of construction, that's $29,704. So I submit that the current assessment is overassessed as at April 1st, 2016 by $30,000, and I get $171,000,
Okay.
or 206.52.
Thank you, Mr. Leslie. Ms. Scott has any questions of the appellant?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Buss, any questions?
No question, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Rentalo?
No questions, thank you.
I have no questions either. Okay, Mr. Leslie, that concludes Unit 305, 77 Edmund Street. Nobody wanted summary or consider the same arguments, okay. And thank you, Mr. Leslie, for appearing.
Thanks very much.
And I think we are going to take a quick recess for about 10 minutes, please. Thank you, Kara. Okay, I will now call the hearing back to order. Next property on the docket will be 99 Wellington Crescent, Unit 408, Ms. Lovato. Pardon me.
Lovato.
Thank you.
Will you swear in today or affirm?
I'll affirm.
You'll affirm? Okay, please stand. State your name.
This was at the bottom.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel today?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very small.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, are these all different?
Yes, there's.
Oh, it's not collated?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay. We put that together. We're on page 8, we're at page 7 already.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I help you distribute?
No, that's okay. It'll just get complicated. Thank you for offering them.
Thank
Okay, good morning, Ms. Lovato. You all had a lesson in appeal process, I guess, from the first two hearings, so.
Real intimidating.
No, don't be intimidated. Okay, Ms. Gades, whenever you're ready, please. Unit 408, 99 Wellington Crescent.
Okay, 408 99 Wellington. This condo is located in the Roslyn neighborhood. It's an apartment-style condo known as Edinburgh House, 12 stories with 97 residential units. It was built in 1960, and the amenities include a gym, concierge, and picnic area. This unit is 1,162 square feet. It's an interior unit on the 4th floor. It has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a balcony. The comps are all in the same building. Comps 1 through 3 are the same size of the subject. Comp 4 is slightly larger. 1 through 3 have 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, and comp 4 has 3 bedrooms and 1.5 baths. They range in price from $199.41 to $232.74 a square foot. The subject is within this range at $212.56 a square foot, and I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gades. Ms. Lovato, any questions of the assessor's evidence presented?
No, but I would.
Okay, you'll have your opportunity to
Okay.
present, yeah. Okay. Ms. Rimple, any questions of the assessor?
No, thank you.
Mr. Buss?
I see you have a post-reference sale.
Yes.
Is it department's policy that they present post-reference sales?
No,
But you've done it anyway.
it just comes up on the comp sheet.
I understand that, but I'm asking why you would present a post-reference sale.
I didn't say anything about it, it's just an information thing for the sale here.
Very good. That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and I have no questions either. Ms. Lovato, when you are ready, please, you've got a packet presented by yourself, so please explain to us why you think the assessment is wrong.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the reason why I'm questioning the assessment is that I got this condo in November of 2017, and I paid $235,000 for it. The assessment is for $247,000. And I guess, you know, my understanding is that city assessment of a property is usually less than the market value. I have lived in 3 other homes, and in each one of those homes, the assessment was always lower than the market value. So I guess that's my argument. So what I have I just brought proof of the price that I paid for the condo. Also, when I sold my home on Montague, it was assessed at $278, and I sold it for $360, $360,000. So I just wanted to, I guess, give proof that usually, as I said, the assessment is lower than the market value.
Ms. Goddess, would you like to comment on the sale presented by the appellant and, thank you.
We can't look at post-reference sales. We can only look at sales up to and including April 1st of 2016. So your sale would be reflective of in the 2020 assessed value. Great for you that you sold your house for that much more than we had it assessed for. But our assessments are based on market value, and they should be closer now that we're on a 2-year cycle. So, like I
I
said,
know
great for
that-
you, but I have a feeling your assessment on that house is gonna go up.
Oh, maybe. But, you know, the other thing is that this condo that I bought, it was on the market for quite a long time. I mean, I believe, it seems to me that I recollect seeing that at one point it was $269,000 that the owner was hoping to sell it for. And, you know, and when I came along, it was $245,000. And then he settled for $235,000 because the condo had been on the market for quite some time.
As I said, it's post-reference and we can't look at it. I can only look at, I can, you know, point you to the sales that happened between April 1st, 2014 to April 1st, 2016 on the comp sheet.
Maybe for reference for the appellant, could you tell us what sales will be used to develop the 2000?
So we look at sales between April 1st, 2014 to April 1st, 2016. So it's what already happened in the market. So we're not predicting the future, we're just analyzing those sales.
But for 2020, what sales evidence will you use?
2016 to 2018, April 1st. So,
I'm sorry, repeat that again?
so for 2020 assessment,
Yes.
we will be looking at sales that occurred between April 1st, 16 to April 1st, 18. So that would be what you did with your property in 17.
So are you saying then that before that I will have another assessment
Every 2 years.
every 2 years?
And they will include your sale in this building to prepare the values for the 2020 assessment, and if it reflects that the values are going downwards,
Mhm.
or they'll reflect what the market evidence is, and if that indeed shows that the values have gone down in the building, theoretically, the assessments will be adjusted to where the market indicates, and if it's lower, it'll theoretically go lower.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Ms. Goddard, anything else you'd like to tell us?
No, I guess I'll have to see what happens in the future. You know, I mean, I just don't want to be paying more taxes, or higher taxes than I should.
No, of course not. No, please understand that we're taking your argument into consideration. The panel will deliberate with the information you provided and the assessor provided, and you'll get a notice, okay?
Okay.
Based on the evidence presented today. Ms. Scott, is any requirement for a
No.
summary at all? Would you like to summarize at all, or anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right.
I have a question.
Long morning, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
I
Mr.
have
Buck.
none, go ahead.
What building is this? There's no pictures. Where exactly is it and what?
It's called Edinburgh House. It's, so if you were to travel on River Avenue to the end of River and the beginning of Wellington,
Yes,
there's
It's
the
that very-
new one, that is the
yes.
$1 million condo building. I'm not in that one, I'm in the one right next
It's
to that.
very next to, oh,
Yes.
okay, okay, because I go up and down that street, I know
Yes.
some of the buildings, but.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
thank-
built
thank
in
you. That's-
1970, yeah, it's an
Yeah,
old.
that's all my
it's an old
questions, I just
building,
wanted
yeah.
to know which building it was.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Rempel, any questions?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
My only question is, which way do you face? Are you on the Riverside or the Wellington side?
I face the Wellington side.
Okay, so you're east side, okay.
Yes,
All right. All right,
okay, thank you very much.
thank you very much for appearing, and you'll hear from us shortly, okay? Thank you. Okay, next property on the docket is 183 Hamilton Avenue, Unit 8, Ms. Burdette.
Will you swear or affirm this morning? Affirm. Please state your name. Jennifer Burdett. Do you affirm the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel this morning?
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Burdette.
Good morning.
Ms. Scott, if you'd like to take a minute to review, but whenever you're ready, please proceed. 183 Hamilton Avenue, Unit 8, 2019.
Yeah, this is a townhouse style condo and it's located in the Heritage Park neighborhood. It's known as Sterling Point and it consists of 51 units. This unit measures 1,496 square feet with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and an attached garage. It was purchased in 2013 for $275,000 updated. From speaking with the homeowner, I've since learned that a new furnace and air conditioning unit has been put in and new windows. The comparables, they're all in the same complex and they range in size from 1,311 to 1,496 square feet. They all have 2 bedrooms. Comps 2, 3, and 4 have 3 washrooms, otherwise they have the same amenities. The sales range from $172.75 to $211.81 a square foot. The subject is well within this range at $187.17 a square foot, and I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Scott. Ms. Burdette, any questions of the assessor's evidence presented?
I do have one question. So each of these units are in different parts of the complex. There's, 6 different building units. Do each of the buildings get assessed differently depending on where the location is? So for example, unit 187 is right on the creek, whereas unit 179 is on the corner of Hamilton and Silver.
It would depend. They would get if there was any influences to that building, to that unit, it would be reflected in it.
What type of influences do you mean?
Traffic, pond, whatever it is.
So potentially, unit 187 would be assessed higher because it's a slightly quieter location than the corner of Hamilton and Silver, for example, where there would be traffic, whereas 187 there would be no traffic.
No,
other than
they're all the same condo number, so
Oh, okay.
they would, yeah. It would be based on their size. I mean, if there is one that's facing heavy traffic, then it would get, that particular unit would get that influence.
Right, okay, okay. I don't have any other questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rimple, any questions of the assessor?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Mr. Buss?
I see by the sales that there was no change from 2008 to 2013.
Mhm.
Do you have any numbers that would tell me what the average increase of sales would be from 2013 to 2016?
No, no, I couldn't honestly give you.
And just to pick up on the accountant's question, so if one of these was on the creek, would its assessment be higher? Like, would that have a pond influence or
Yeah.
something?
It would.
That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice. So if it was one influenced by traffic, there would be an allowance built in to the
The
assessment?
traffic, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. I think that's what you're trying to ask.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. I have no other questions. Okay, Ms. Burdette, when you are ready, please.
All right, so within my package itself, I have, this is data that you already have. The next set of sheets in will actually answer your question. So this is the current market value from 2016 to current. It is a summary and analysis, which was the second package that looks like this. On the second page, which is probably the back side of your sheet, it actually has the average sale price within that from 2016 through to today, with the maximum sale price of being $240,000. Within that, the next sheet in your package is current sales, which I realize is out of the current scope. And then beneath that are some additional information of the units that have sold within the last couple of years. On page 2 of 4 for the client side-by-side, I believe I've starred 2 units with a green asterisk. It should match the green asterisks of the summary sheet as well. Those units from, we have 4 different styles of units within the complex. Those units are identical to my own. And therefore, I feel that those are the ones that my unit should be compared against specifically. That would also match comp number 1 on the assessor's sheet as well. And as a result, I realize I've overpaid probably on my unit a little bit, but I feel that if the going with the location, I am not on the creek, I am removed from the creek, but I do face a larger park-like area, if you will, whereas 187 is directly on the creek, and 179 is on the corner of Hamilton and Silver, which is also why I was asking that question. I feel that the assessment should be equal to what the identical units are assessed at, and mine's considerably higher than theirs. That's everything.
Okay. For the record, could you please state what you think the assessment should be based on your market comparison?
So based on my market comparison and with the information I had available, I think looking at unit 6-179 and 4-179, unfortunately I did not look up the assessment for 3-179. The assessments between the two are $251 and $245, so at very minimum, I think it should be $251, the higher of the two.
Okay, so you're asking for 251,000?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And this is based on, I'm looking at page 2 of 4. We've got two
Yes.
of the sold stars, and they were sold, I'm trying to find the year they were sold, but I think, are they on the assessor's
Oh, they're on my summary sheet.
Which page is that?
It's right in behind the,
This one?
yeah,
Okay.
it's that one.
Okay.
The 6179 was sold in 2017, so it was out of the period at 203. But 4179 was sold in November of 2016 at 235.
Everybody got that?
Mhm.
Okay. Ms. Cortez, you follow?
Yeah, so they're post reference.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell us this time? Okay.
No,
All
I
right.
think, the good news is that my units don't sell very often. Bad news is my units don't sell very often.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Cortez, any questions of the appellant? Take a minute if you need.
So you have upgraded it since you purchased it, correct?
I have added windows and a furnace and air conditioner, yes.
And when you bought it, what kind of finishes did it have? Was it already upgraded?
It was already upgraded. It had a brand new kitchen in 2012. It had a new furnace in new hot water tank in 2012. And the new flooring was put in 2010.
I have nothing further, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rimple, any questions of the appellant?
I just want to make sure I understand this correctly because you were asking the questions about influences like traffic, etc. You say you face Park-like area?
I do. It actually faces Sturgeon Creek.
Okay. So you don't have a bus route that goes by your particular condo or
I do
heavy
not.
traffic?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm on the side that is quieter
Okay.
than the other side.
Great, thank you.
Anything else?
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Buss?
Yes, you said you wanted to be assessed the same as the identical unit to yours, or identical units. Is that,
Yes.
which ones are identical units to yours?
So on the comparable sales sheet that was provided by the assessor, the
Okay.
identical unit is number 3179 Hamilton, so comp number 1.
Okay,
On my material that I provided, unit number 6179 and 4179.
where are they, 617?
So, on the summary page, they're asterisked,
Oh, okay, 6179 and 4,
and 4179.
okay, so those
Yeah.
are,
I believe I asterisked them all in all of the
Yeah.
packages so that, with the same color, so it was easy to identify.
and does it tell us what year these sales were? It says LS, this sale price?
So on the summary sheet, if you go back a
Oh, I
little
see
bit.
on top here, it says 2017, 2018.
Yeah, there's a summary sheet just before that though.
Okay,
On the front there, they're asterisked, and then in the middle, they have the sales dates.
okay. 17, 16, okay. Thank you, that's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to ask questions on the 2013, your purchase price in 2013. Was that bought through a real estate agent?
It was, yes.
Okay, and then I think I understand that after that purchase you spent, could you estimate how much you spent in renovations on the property? $10,000?
Between the windows and the furnace, I'm going to estimate about $15,000.
All right. Now, you made a comment that you think you overpaid in 2013, maybe the market was higher than
This
the evidence
particular,
is showing, or?
well, this particular unit, there was, so to air my dirty laundry, I was separating from my husband and we needed a place to stay. And this unit had been on the market for 96 days by the time I had gotten to it. The timing worked out for when I needed a place. I fell in love with the place and was willing to pay the extra $10,000 for the view. Unit 3, 179 was for sale at the exact same time, for $10,000 less.
And your property is in a superior location to Unit 3, would you say? Or-
I would say absolutely, because I get the Park Lake view, where
Yeah.
Unit 3 is on the corner of Hamilton and Silver.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's not a busy corner, there certainly is traffic there.
Okay. It's a four-way stop or something?
It is, yeah.
Okay. And I'm looking at your comparisons, and I'm looking at the side pictures in the MLS listings,
Mm-hmm.
and I've lost it now. There's one with a, yeah, the last one, actually your last presentation. It's showing the one on the corner, but the top picture on the right, it shows the view from the deck, so is it going back towards the creek the same as yours?
I'm sorry, which unit
The
number is that?
last one, number 3, your last page in your presentation. And I'm looking at the side photos from the MLS.
I printed yours with the actual picture, not mine. Do
Oh.
you mind just holding really quick?
Okay.
So sorry. Yes, that is a view
Okay.
that is very similar to mine. I'm a little bit further north, but yes, it is a similar.
Okay, yeah.
Good
And
catch.
you've got a quieter location
I do.
on the front side.
On the back side, because I face the courtyard, just like everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a common courtyard.
I see, okay. All right. And you're, based on the two comparables that you think are better comparables, you're asking for $251,000?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to tell us?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. Ms. Scott has requirement for summary at all?
No, thank you.
Anything else you'd like to say? You're good?
I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
All right, thanks for appearing, and you'll hear from us in as soon as possible.
Sounds good. I appreciate you
Thanks.
listening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm next or not.
We are gonna call Mr. Peacock, 3200 Portage Avenue, Unit 402.
I'll give you 30 seconds to extend parking by an hour.
Of course. Yep, you go ahead. And we are gonna be on page 10.
Didn't work. Won't allow me to extend parking due to restrictions, so
Uh-oh,
Oh dear.
you have to go.
I will be
You
brief.
have to move to a different spot, because it's probably a 2-hour limit there.
Well, and I had to leave the building and walk away from it before I got connection. I don't know.
Well, I got
what-
connection, and I just tried to extend it, and it said,
Okay.
can't due to parking restrictions, but we'll go.
Well, we don't want you to get a parking
No,
ticket.
we
I
can
don't
go,
want
we
you to
can,
get
we could take somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to take someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and you take care of your car there. You'll be next when you come back, okay? All right, so we are gonna go to 230 Bonner Avenue, Unit 311, I think, possibly. Somebody just left, or?
It's
They're together.
yours
Yeah,
and
so,
because she's,
She just went to
She went to Washington.
She should be back soon.
Okay, so come forward, please. 230 Bonner Avenue, Unit 311, Ms. Belinsky.
we can distribute if you have anything.
I don't know that what I have is more than what they already have.
Okay.
If there is anything that I speak to that I have, copies of and they want them for later for consideration, I can pay to have them copied.
Okay, sure. Just wait a moment. You know, it just always stays locked.
When you open the door, the lock comes off.
Come and have a seat here. And the assessor will swear you in, please, or affirm you.
So, you're Elizabeth?
Yep.
Okay. Will you swear in or affirm today?
Sure.
Okay, do you want to stand? State your name.
Elizabeth Susan Jelinski.
Do you swear the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Will you be speaking today as well?
No.
No? Okay. Did you want to be affirmed or sworn in just in case?
Sure.
Okay. Please state your name.
Georgette Howard.
Do you swear the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kara.
You're welcome.
Okay. We're on page 12.
Correct.
All right. Okay. We're dealing with 230 Boardroom Avenue, Unit 311, and we're dealing with the 2019 realty assessment. Ms. Goddess, when you are ready, please.
311 230 Bonner Avenue. This is an apartment style condo located in the River East neighborhood. It's known as Buns Creek Condos, and it was built in 2016. It's 4 stories high and has a total of 72 units. Amenities include a gym, guest suite, and lounge area. The subject property was purchased in 2016 for $358,900. It measures 1,187 square feet with 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 half bath with shower, a balcony with a western exposure. There was originally some question about the square footage from the homeowner, and that was changed. We originally had it at 1,220 square feet from plans that the developer sent in. It has been changed to 1,187. It makes no difference in the value. Because this condo is so new, there's no sales that fit into the April 1st, 2016 timeline. The comparables come from 1954 Henderson Highway. This complex has 29 residential units, a party room. It was built in 1998. The comparable properties are all basically 1,253 square feet with 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 half bath. They all sold with original finishes, European style kitchen cupboards, wallpapering, carpeting. These sales range from $250.53 to $262.31 a square foot. For a building that's 18 years older, the subject is $287.70 a square foot, and I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Goddess. Any questions on the evidence presented by the assessor on her brief?
Yes, just very brief. So the basis of the assessment on 230 Bonner was based off of solely the building that's at 1954 Henderson Highway?
No. It was based on the sales of all of those units at
Oh,
230
okay.
Bonner.
Okay, that's unfortunate, okay. Were you able to do a post-build inspection of our property, comparing it to the property at 1954 Henderson Highway?
No, I did not. The assessor who put it on inspected the property.
Oh, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rempel, any questions of the assessor?
I'm just wondering, if you have any assessments that relate to other units at 230 Bonner?
They would all be first-time sales, so I can't use those. They were after the reference.
And is this sale of this unit after the reference?
I would imagine it would be. although it was negotiated in 2014. I don't have the actual month of the sale.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Buss, any questions of the assessor?
Yes. Could you compare the two buildings? How many floors each one has, and are they full concrete construction?
Yeah, so, as I said, Buns Creek has 4 stories, 72 units. 1954, Henderson has 29 residential units. And I don't have information about the construction quality, although the homeowner informed me that,
That's okay, I do.
yeah.
Okay, we'll deal with that, yeah, you can present.
So would you consider the subject property to be in a better location than the comparables?
Personally, no.
That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, maybe I misheard, but the assessment is, for 2019, is 351,000?
Yeah.
And it's 295.70 a square foot?
295.70, yeah.
Because
said
there was an
something
adjustment
different.
in the square, yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah. The adjustment, or the living area got adjusted after
Down.
an inquiry by the appellant?
Yeah, originally we go from the plans, and the plans stated that it was a G1, which is, according to them, 1,220 square feet. Apparently, they ended up not doing the G1, so it was adjusted down to 1,187, or 1187 square feet, yeah.
Okay, so did the assessment change based on that correction?
Not at
in
all.
Square
It was
footage?
20
Not at all.
square, no.
Okay. What kind of, first of all, where's this located on Bonner Avenue? So we're east of Henderson Highway,
Right.
okay, and how far off Henderson? On Bonner?
You can see that garage, Petrochem?
Shell station.
Shell station.
It's a
Okay,
big white, yellow umbrella roof.
yes. And how far, where are you?
I have pictures for you, it's directly in front of our building.
Okay, okay. So you're basically very close to the intersection of Bonner and Henderson Highway
About
East?
one property off.
Yeah, okay, so you're on the northeast corner, northwest, or I wouldn't say corner, but you're on the north side or
Yes.
south side?
We're on the
Okay,
southeast corner of Bonner.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I had to turn in that direction.
And what kind of parking do you have? Is it
We have one underground
Underground, okay.
and one above ground.
Okay, so it's two
Okay.
spots titled to the unit?
Yeah,
All right,
they're not, I don't know. Okay.
they are titled?
They're assigned.
Assigned, okay.
They can be changed at any time by the condo board with
Yeah.
the agreement of parties.
Oh, okay. The 2016 sale, I might as well ask now, okay, yeah. When did it occur?
In, I believe, May of 2014.
Okay, that was a pre-build sale, is that
Yeah.
right? Okay. And when did you occupy?
Middle of August of 2016.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so I understand you don't have pictures to share, I mean, you do, but
I
only one.
do,
Only one copy,
but
okay.
I can do that and then I can forward them to you via email for future review or,
No, we need, or we would like to have physical copies of the pictures.
I can provide those. Just not today.
Yeah, we need them today to consider in our decision.
Do you have them electronically
Mhm.
there? You can email them to me.
So you know what? I can email them to you.
She needs to know.
Do you need them
They
right
need
now?
to see them
Oh,
right now.
okay.
This is
Alright,
your
cool.
evidence that you're
Okay.
presenting.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what, I'll get you to send it to the board email. It's the second one there, bor@winnipeg.ca. Do you wanna take a short recess?
Yes, I think we will. Okay, we'll
Sorry.
recess for 10 minutes. No problem. We Thanks, Kara. I will now call the hearing back to order. We are with the Unit 311, 230 Bonner Avenue, and we are with the appellant presenting evidence.
Thank you. So I am just going to defer to the comparables, firstly, and their original listings. If I may. So 101 at 1954 Henderson Highway.
Now, do we have this?
No.
We don't have this, okay.
This is in what? Ms. Goddess, yeah,
These are
these are the assessors comparables?
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm just gonna briefly first go over the listing with the high points. 1246, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2 underground heated parking stalls, 2 storage lockers, full concrete building on river, generous reserve fund, oversized wraparound outdoor patio, jetted tub, corner lot with riverfront. This was listed in January or February of 2015 on the 19th. It sold 1 month later. Unit number 206, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, view of river, 2 storage units, large 23 by 8 patio, all overlooking lush grounds. This was listed on September 7th of 2014, and it sold on September 11th of 2014 for $325,000. Unit 303, concrete construction, stunning, spacious 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo with very large balcony with river and park views, heated and covered parking, jetted tub, 2 separate storage lockers, fruit trees, shrubs, no through road, river view. Date listed August 19th, 2015. Date sold August 21st, 2015 for $330,000. 503 end unit, great top floor condo, panoramic river view, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, open floor plan, jetted tub, garden door to large balcony, 2 lockers, 2 underground parking stalls. Listed April 22nd, 2014, sold April 23rd, 2014 for $321,000. Okay, to summarize, the building in question that was used as a comparable at 1954 Henderson Highway is of concrete construction, being described as concrete floors, concrete walls, concrete block, concrete and steel. Most of the units, at least the ones that are in those 4 comparables, have jetted tubs. This only has 29 residential units. It has both river and park settings surrounded by only other residential buildings. The oversized wraparound common outdoor patio faces the river. Each unit has 2 storage lockers, one of which is on the same floor as the unit, and the second one is in the parkade. The balconies measure approximately 23 by 8 feet, that's 200 square feet. Underground parking has double doors with lanes for access and egress at the same time. There is no thoroughfare on this property. The huge common room is on the main floor, and by estimations from the people we've spoken with, I don't have documentation on that, but photos are based on the listings we saw, is 3 times the size of the common room we have at our location. We did have opportunity to speak to one of the owners there when we first heard that this was our building that was used as a comparable. And we asked her, grilled her on all things that we thought would be relevant. They have, as she described it, quite a generous reserve fund. They're locked and loaded for whatever might come. And the reason why I had to bring up the turnaround in the sales dates, as you saw, some of them, one was 24 hours, and there were some that were 2 days, some that were 3 days. The longest on the comparables was a month, is because this corporation maintains a wait list. People are waiting for units to come up for sale. I find it distressing that our complex has been compared to a riverside property, such as that one, especially once we were able to look at it. It was very deflating, to say the least. Our building is at Bunds Creek, 230 Bonner, located on the east side of Henderson Highway. So firstly, it's my understanding that the purchase prices are factored into the assessed value. That being said, our unit's price did not only include base appliances, but an upgraded appliance package. And we feel the value alone of those appliances is in the $5,000 range. And as such, it should be reduced from the assessed value of the unit. When we looked at this lot, based on their diagrams and several sheets and flip charts that they gave us, we presumed that our only deficiency there would be the traffic noise from Henderson Highway. But we have found, since occupying this for the last 2 years, that's not the case. So what our building has to offer, we do have a parkade that is below ground. It is the only part of our building that is concrete. We have wood construction on floors 1 through 4. We are 72 units that share one elevator. Because of the wood construction, you can hear residents walking above you in their units and in the hallways. There are times when you can hear voices when people are talking in the hallways as well. We recently had an elderly person in our building, so brand new 2-year-old building, paid to have a new tub and shower combo put in because the tub was not conducive for them to use it due to their age. Because of the noise factor, we had to tell them they could put in whatever kind of tub, but it had to have no motor in it because we were certain that that would be worse than any foot traffic we could already hear. So there will be, going forward, in addition to there's no jetted tubs allowed in our building. We face commercial buildings, no matter where you look out from our unit. To the, you'll see by the pictures that I forwarded you, to the right, we have the Shell station that we get to look at.
Would you mind telling us which, or do we have that picture? Maybe we don't.
Yeah, you should have it. Let me just see here how I sent them to you.
That's it. No, that's not it.
Okay.
Okay, the first picture that's,
Yeah, that's the Shell station there,
There.
and there's the parkade, and then the Shell station behind the parkade.
yeah,
This is the shelter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's our covered parking there right up front that you see, and directly in behind that is the Shell station.
And that is a view from your balcony?
That's the view from our balcony.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The Shell station is directly in front to the north, which sells gas and convenience items. It has at least 6 or more car wash bays. This busy and generates noise 10 to 12 hours a day. You don't realize until you're there how much noise actually comes from that gas station with all the trucks and stuff like that. Irwin's, who is our builder, by the way, new 2-story office building, which is directly in front to the south side. Originally, when we were looking at plans to buy, we were told that that would all be parking for the complex. Then we were told that Irwin was building their new office building in that spot there, and it would be 1 story. By the time, and where that building stands now is where their display suite was originally. And they had said to us it would be similar to that. When all was said and done, it ended up being a 2-story building. So we now get to look at the back of their property. Then going just a little bit further down is Bass Electric. It is also directly in front of the building, just south of Urban Homes, with 4 large service bays. It does a lot of mechanical repairs with extreme noise as a result. We hear the pneumatic drills being used on a regular basis. And then directly beside them is the Co-op gas bar, which basically has the same operation as the Shell station, but it's not as close. So unlike the other property, and I don't know what gets figured into all these things, but I know this is what people look at when they're going to buy, especially in a condo. Our reserve fund is 2 years in the making. When we had to do our review with the National Home Warranty, we, as a board, had to present over 50 items on the National Home Warranty claim, 40 of which they upheld as being defects in the building, which we've been working with Irwin to get taken care of. The significant issues that we have to look at going forward is issues with the pillars in the parkade have water ponding around them due to snow, rain, or whatever the case is. We've got spalling of concrete. There's significant condensation from the plumbing lines in the parkade. So you almost have to take an umbrella down there in the summertime because of how bad the condensation is sometimes. The exterior landscaping, which you can't see, we are still trying to determine what the builder's landscaper did or did not do, is we have patches that are defined by sod or what they put in, where we replaced the sod already twice. The sod continues to die no matter how you water it. The problem being the footprint, we've been told the footprint of the parkade is bigger than the footprint of the building. So they had to do waterproofing membrane, which meant they couldn't do proper soil composition there, but they laid the sod on top of it anyways. So we're having to do significant landscaping. Is going to be upcoming. Several of the balconies on the property have a negative slope. So both rainwater and snow melt collects and backs up towards the patio doors. National Home Warranty is still looking at this. Our problem that we have going forward is the significant amount of deficiencies as far as the common areas go. The way the National Home Warranty plan is set up is that you have 1 year to make your complaints, and then after they go in and do the repairs, you have 1 year for that repair to become defective, or you lose the option to follow it up any further. As unit owners, we're not certain of what is yet to come, because based on the quality of trades and unchecked apprentices and building materials that we've found since we've been in there in the last 2 years, every day is a surprise. To date, we can verify one major water damage that occurred in a unit on the 4th floor due to faulty solder on a water supply line. It ended up damaging 2 units. In our unit alone this summer, we had to spend $1,100 to replace the motor on a 2-year-old furnace. The furnaces they provided in the building were brought up from the US, and what we found out when ours decided to not continue to work anymore was that because they were brought up from the US, once they passed over the border, any warranty that might have been attached is no longer applicable. We currently have water damage in our unit in the second bathroom that we discovered the water damage. We had plumbers in there in the last 2 weeks that spent 4 hours over 2 days trying to determine where the leak is coming from. They were unable to detect it. So there is a fear we're going to have ongoing issues with the quality of workmanship in the building. We do share the parking lot with Irwin Homes off Henderson Highway, and as a result, we have a significant thoroughfare. Vehicles traveling either to Henderson or from Henderson, to avoid having to wait at the stop sign, they cut through the parking lot. We don't have any speed bumps in our parking lot, so sometimes if you happen to wander out in front of the building, that's right where the cars come whipping by. We're attempting to find a resolution, but we can't gate it because our property starts here and Irwin's property starts there, and there's just no way to put in a divide. Our balcony on our unit is approximately 60 square feet as opposed to the 200 square feet the other building has. We have a single driveway so that only one car at a time may proceed either coming or going out of the parkade. Our common room is a third the size, if not smaller, than that of Harborside. Our complex consists of 72 units, of which 28 or 40% are rentals. Of the 28 rentals, 8 are still owned by the developer, but rented out. 2 are owned by an associated company and rented out. Only 39 of the units are owner occupied. So part of the problem when we went looking for a condominium to purchase in 2014, we looked at whatever we could in that end of town. My mom was moving back from Calgary, and we wanted to keep her close. And there was nothing there, absolutely nothing. Only by happenstance and driving by did we see this sign and went in and thought, well, you know what, at least you know what you're getting, or so we thought. The prices are whatever the developer decides to throw up on that wall. We did investigate other builds that they had in and around the city, and we're told that ours was higher because of what they had to pay for the houses they had to demolish to build the building. But we found our exact same unit at another end of town for $30,000 less, but we wanted to have her, again, close, so we bit the bullet.
Okay, I think we've got a good picture of the deficiencies of the building, your
Mhm.
locational deficiencies.
Yeah,
That,
I'm-
in your opinion, you
yeah.
feel it's an inferior property to the building that the assessor presented.
Yeah.
Would you, you've stated that the $5,000 adjustment should be made for the appliance upgrade. We've got a sale that occurred in 2014, but never, I guess, pre-built sale. What do you think that, after all the deficiencies you listed and everything, what do you think the assessment should be?
I think the assessment should be at $15,000 less than it is.
So you're asking for the record for
$335,000.
$335,000, okay?
I do have a current listing in our building, or no, this isn't our building,
Yeah.
sorry.
We're not gonna, probably you heard from previous appeals that we're not gonna entertain current listings, the
Mhm.
post-reference listing,
Yeah.
we call it. It'll be reflected in the next reassessment in 2020, so I won't even, I'll let you go there, how's that?
That's fine.
Okay. I think we've got, the panel's got a good idea of what's going on in the building and why you think the assessment is too high. I think Ms. Gomez has too. Ms. Gomez, any questions of the presentation by the appellant?
I just, obviously the service station was there before the condo was built, so you knew it was gonna be part
We
of it.
had no, like I said, for us, it was, okay, here's the condo, there's Henderson Highway, right? That's our problem. You have no idea until you're there what goes on in that service station. You have no idea until you're there, that engineer's shop, once they do their car, whatever, they open up the back doors on the days that it's warmer, whatever the case is, you hear those drills, those air, whatever, compressor powered machinery equipment. You cannot be at all outside, and sometimes, unless you've got the furnace running, you can hear all of that. You hear the trucks when they're delivering the gas, like it's,
Okay,
yeah.
I had nothing.
It's just the thing, it's not at all compared to what we were being compared to. And the problem, the point I was trying to make is that all of us that bought between 2014 and 2016 were sold on a picture. It was not worth what we paid, by no stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
Unfortunately, any units that have gone up for sale in the last 2 years, the people have not been able to sell them, and they've ended up renting them out because they can't get what they think they should be getting because of what they just recently paid out for a brand new build.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Rempel, any questions of the appellant?
I just have one question, and that is, you mentioned that there were about 40 or so defects under the National Home Warranty
Mhm.
Plan. And those defects are, when they're corrected, are paid for by the builder?
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Mhm. I think that's how the National Home Warranty, when we talked to the adjuster, it was like, we will ensure that they take care of this. It might almost be like a bond issue or whatever, but I know there's, the significant ones are the ones that I just read to you, especially with the negative slope balconies. We're concerned that we're gonna have water infiltration
Right.
at some point in time. And they've yet been able to come to us with a result. And all these units are individually owned, but the balconies are gonna be the corporation's responsibility. And even though we don't have a negative balcony issue, we will, when the cash call comes, it gets shared amongst everybody, right? So, a lot of these fixes they're doing, like I say, the way the National Home Warranty currently works, you have 1 year after they finally do the repair. And some of the issues we have aren't gonna unravel until 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road, and then we're gonna be left holding the,
Okay.
And you paid $5,000 for the appliances that was included in
no,
the
they gave
sale
us,
price?
they gave us appliances that were approximately worth $3,000. Washer, dryer, dishwasher, microwave, fridge. And then we paid, and stove, sorry. We paid an additional $2,000 to upgrade the fridge and the stove.
Is that included in the sale price that you paid?
That was included in their sale price.
Okay, and then you have had to replace the motor on your furnace at your cost for $1,100?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Buss?
The building that you're being compared to on Henderson Highway, all four of the sales are pretty close in square foot range. So are all four of them facing the river, or all four of them facing the street, or do you know?
We weren't allowed access to the building, so I can only go based on the listings, what we were able to provide off the listings.
Just a listing?
The lady we spoke to, she was facing the river.
Yeah.
I think your evidence was that all four had river influence.
Yeah.
That was
And
your
they're
MLS.
surrounded by other residential buildings, like either apartments or other condos.
Yeah.
They don't get to look at what we get to look at.
Yeah.
And it's a significantly better construction.
Yes. Okay, I think I have that. That's all my questions, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Buss. My only question is, are the repairs being taken care of under the warranty program? Is the builder undertaking the repairs, in your opinion, or what you
They
said?
are,
Okay.
but it's been like pulling teeth. And they're constantly negotiating, well, what if we do this and you,
And you sit on the board and you're
Yes.
involved with these, trying to get things
yes.
straightened out. Okay. All right. Ms. Scott, has any
Thank you.
prior, okay, and any requirement for a summary? I think you made a,
No,
you explained
we're,
everything to us.
we would just like to be evaluated based on similar construction.
Yeah,
In the, there are other condo complexes in the Territory 2 or Zone 2 or whatever it is that are,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Okay, thank you very much. Leave it with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Before we write on. Okay, Mr. Peacock. Did you buy enough parking?
I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, Mr. Peacock.
Okay, we are dealing with 3200 Portage Avenue, 2019 Realty Assessment Unit 402. And we are on page, backwards, I think.
Oh, yes, on page 10.
Will you swear in or affirm? Please state your name.
Do you affirm the evidence you present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We owe you money for pictures.
Sorry.
Okay, you're welcome.
Ms. Scott, when you are ready, please.
Okay, 402 3200 Portage Avenue. This is an apartment-style condominium. It's located in the Kirkfield neighborhood. Complex is known as Westwood House. It's 10 stories high, consists of 99 residential units, and there are no known amenities to the complex. This is an N unit located on the 4th floor, measures 1,015 square feet, with 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, open balcony with a north exposure. There is a post-reference sale on this property. The dissolved company sold off 7 of the units they owed. All of the sales were considerably under market value. No listings or permits were found, and it was not included in our analysis. The comps used are all in the same complex. They measure between 1,015 to 1,116 square feet. All 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Comps 1, 2, and 3 face north, the same as the subject. And comps 3 and 4 are N units like the subject. And comp 3 sold in an original condition, and the others were upgraded. The sales range from $157.64 to $181.42. The subject is within this range at $176.35, and I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cortez. Mr. Peacock, any questions of the assessor's evidence presented?
Just on comp 3, because it's the same size and same location within the building, a couple floors higher.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any conditions or encumbrances associated with that sale?
No.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Rempel, any questions of the assessor?
No, thank you.
Mr. Buss?
So, I might have missed something. Comp 3 is a similar one, only higher, faces north like the subject property.
Yes, except it was upgraded.
Okay. And the other 3, they're actually all in the same building.
Right.
And you said the building has no amenities or anything like that?
Not that I know of, no, not that was listed.
And there's no pictures like this of anything?
No.
That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Cortez, location, 3200 Portage, I'm not sure how far out west we are.
Past Assiniboine Park.
Past the, more west than the Grace Hospital.
Okay. West of the Grace, okay. Past Salisbury House?
Between.
So right across from Superstore and Portage Avenue,
Yeah.
you familiar with that?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Right there, okay, on the south side.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now I've got it, okay, thank you. Okay, sir, Mr. Peacock, when you're ready, please.
Okay, so thanks for the opportunity. As I said earlier, I'm learning lots today. I've never appealed a property assessment. I'm learning about parking, I'm learning about this process. I've owned properties in Winnipeg for 17 years and I've never appealed one, but this time I felt compelled to. So, my wife and I had the opportunity to buy a unit in Westwood House last summer about this time. It was listed with a broker, that's how we became aware of it. And it was on the understanding and commitment to the vendor that we keep the existing tenant in place, who is a senior citizen, has been renting from the vendor since 2000, so a long-standing tenant, and it was important that that the purchaser honor the existing tenancy and commit to keeping the existing tenancy in place. So agreed purchase price was favorable, but not necessarily favorable relative to the economics of the unit. So what I've included in the package today is the offer to purchase, the tenancy agreement, a income and expense statement that shows the rental income of the property, less condo fees, less property tax, less insurance, shows a net income of $4,657 on an annual basis, which obviously doesn't take into effect any debt service associated with the property or anything of the nature. At the time we bought it, we had arranged mortgage financing through the Winnipeg Credit Union. They had an appraisal done as of July 2017, which concluded the value of $161,000 at that time. However, I will say that because of the economics of the unit, we weren't able to obtain mortgage financing on the basis of a $161,000 appraisal. In other words, they weren't going to lend us, say, 75 or 80% of 161. They lent us 75% basically of our purchase price. So, in my view, and again, back to learning things today as it relates to post-reference sales, my view is the best testament to market value is two unrelated parties agree on a price, which we did. Second best appraisal value is on an income basis, which you can see by this one is very low, and frankly, I use an aggressive capitalization rates wouldn't even support the $138,000 that I paid, but and then thirdly, the appraisal, and again, was at a point in time wasn't used for traditional mortgage financing in terms of borrowing what would normally be a loan-to-value ratio associated with this, because the income wouldn't support the mortgage associated with it.
Okay. For the record, what would you consider to be a fair estimate of market value?
I think it's what I paid adjusted back to the reference date. So I paid $138 in August 2017.
So you're asking the board to reduce it to 138,000?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Scott, has any questions of the appellant?
So was this purchase of 138, was that on the open market?
I was made aware of it because it was listed with a broker who actually lives in that building. My dad also lives in that building, and he was aware of it, that it was available.
Was it open to the public?
I don't know if I understand the nuance there.
Was it on MLS? Was it on Combree? Could the general public see that it was listed for 138?
That I don't know. What I know is the vendor engaged the broker to sell it for them. I don't know whether they put it on MLS or how broad.
Do you know that it was, they had bought 7 units and it was a dissolved company?
I do
So
not know.
they were selling off. They just wanted to get rid of those 7 units. So I don't believe it was on the open market, specifically because my comps, I have one that's March 2016, and it sold for $160,000.
Yeah,
And that's the lowest sale that we have, like 185, 190,000. So I can't see 138,000 being on the open market. The appraisal is post-reference. You also had a stipulation that you have to keep the tenant in there for how long? Till they pass away, or she
So they
moves?
decide to move, yes.
So it's indefinite. And what about raising the rent?
I guess I'm subject to rent.
So
increases.
there is a bit of a,
2%.
there's a catch with that sale.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I'm not sure that comp three is entirely relevant, and that's why I asked if there was any known conditions or encumbrances on it, because there's no doubt there's conditions and encumbrances on the unit that I bought.
Definitely. So that's not open market.
Again, I don't know that I understand open market. I don't know how broadly this was marketed by the agent. It's their job to
I
find.
couldn't find it anywhere.
I have no idea
Yeah.
what they did.
Okay, I have nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Buss, any questions?
Were you allowed to inspect the property? That's what it said, yes. Is it average condition?
Keep in mind, this building's been around since 1969. This tenant's been in there since 2000. I would say that it was outdated the day she moved in. So, you know,
Was it,
it would need considerable expenditures to bring it, you know, if this tenant decides to leave at some point, considerable, in my view, to modernize it and release it out. Or re-rent it, sorry.
okay, thanks. That's all my questions, Mr.
Ms.
Chair.
Garple?
Yes, I'm just wondering where I might find anything to indicate that the tenant that was in there when you purchased it, has to remain in there or can remain in there in your offer to purchase. Is there,
It's
is there
not.
some, I'm sorry, I can't read that quickly, so it must be in
Yeah,
there
no,
somewhere.
I don't believe it's in the offer of purchase. I don't think there's anything registered on title that would suggest that that's a.
Is there anything in writing to
Uh,
indicate that that tenant has the right to?
You know, I don't know. It's not in this purchase agreement. I can tell you, likely from a legal perspective, because there's no question there was a verbal commitment to maintain this tenancy indefinitely. Likely they would have a case if I tried to do anything. I can tell you, morally, I absolutely have a commitment to keep this tenant. It's part of the deal.
And may I ask how much rent the tenant pays?
So when I bought it, they were paying $9.54. They currently pay $9.68 because it was increased by the stipulated 1.2 or 3%.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Mr. Peacock, I'm just looking at the evidence you presented, and there is a offer to purchase done through a listing broker, like Judy Lindsay team. And Mr. Aspirin was the agent. So I guess that's who you did. It was listed with Judy Lindsay, is that?
It was listed with the Judy Lindsay team.
Yeah.
The specific broker I dealt with was Ryan Bartley, something like that.
Okay, yeah. You did present evidence that it was listed here. And your, I guess it would be your wife's name on the offer to purchase. And the appraisal, even though it was post-reference in 2017, I have it written down that it came in at $161,000. Okay, but that wasn't, the financial institution wouldn't use that for financing, is that right?
Well, not to support what would be a normal loan to value if you ascribe 161 as the value, because the debt service on it wouldn't cover it. You know, it's, as I say, once you take off common element fees and property taxes, insurance, it throws off $4,700 a year, which doesn't support any more debt than I've got already.
Okay. All right. Ms. Scott, has any summary required?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Sir, Mr. Peacock, anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Thank you. Leave it with us, and we'll hear from us as soon as possible. Thank you. Okay, that concludes 3200 Portage Avenue, Unit 402. So last on the docket is 1820 Henderson Highway, sir, Unit 601. We're dealing with a 2019 realty assessment. We are on page 13.
state your name.
Dennis Wazalowski.
Do you affirm the evidence you'll present today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Do you have anything to distribute to the panel?
Yes, I do. Here's, sorry, I didn't collate them.
That's
I
okay.
have to separate them on the fly there, okay.
Good morning, Mr. Wazalewski. Morning.
Yes, still morning.
Yeah, still there. Ms. Godez, whenever you are ready, please.
Yes.
If you'd like, take a moment, review the presentation if you wish.
So this is 601-1820 Henderson Highway. This is an apartment-style condo known as Henderson on the Red. It's 6 stories and has 35 residential units. Amenities include a party room. This is a corner unit, 1,172 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 half bath with shower, 3-season sunroom with a river view. The comparables are in the same building. They're all corner units, 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, 1 half bath. Comp 1 has no river view, the rest of them do. And comp 3 and 4 do not have enclosed balconies. These sales range from $248.52 to $267.39 a square foot. The subject is at $255.12 a square foot. I believe the assessment should be maintained. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wazalewski, any questions of the assessor's evidence?
Yes, I have several. First of all, have you actually inspected this unit?
No,
Okay. And do you know when the last time this unit was inspected?
no, I don't.
Okay, and if this is correct, that it says the last time this unit was sold was in 2001,
That's what our records indicate.
and it was for $145,500.
We have 145,000, yeah.
Yeah, well, yes. Okay, I have a lot of information you've supplied me here. I'm just wondering, do you not know what the assessment roll values are of these other comps?
We don't compare assessments. I don't need to know that.
Oh, I wouldn't mind knowing that. Have we ever communicated before by correspondence or phone or letter?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, so this is brand new information for me, okay. Is the city aware, first of all, no, let me just hold that. Are balcony square footage is included in the square footage of the unit?
No, they are an amenity
Okay.
that is valued, but that's not part of it.
Doesn't make up part of this 1,100.
Right.
Okay, then, is the city not aware that my unit is only 1,164 square feet?
No, we are not.
Okay, all right. Were any of the other comps inspected in known history?
Not that I know of.
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Butts, any questions of the assessor?
So the sale with the lowest square foot rate is the one that has no river view, is that correct, number 1? I believe you said,
Comp 1 has no river view. The rest of them do.
and that also has lowest square foot selling rate.
Yeah, the other units are smaller also.
So, but comp number 1 looks to be the same unit as the subject property
Yes, without the river view.
without the
Yeah.
river view. That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Rample?
I don't have any questions right
Thank
now,
you.
thank you.
Okay, so Ms. Scott, as subject has a review?
Yes,
Okay. Comp number 1 does not. Comp number 2 has a review?
yes.
Okay.
It's only one that doesn't.
And 3 and 4, so they all have reviews. And my recollection of this complex is there's actually 3 buildings on
Yes.
Henderson on the red. So the ones that are addressed 1840, are those different buildings?
1840 is a different, I think there's only 2 buildings,
There's 2 buildings, okay.
1820 and 1840.
So there's one right on, I'll say, the front of the property on Henderson Highway, and then 1840 would be a driveway going behind the subject?
I don't have the
I
layout.
can clarify that for you.
Okay.
There's actually 3 buildings,
Yeah.
1850 and 1820, the one I'm in, are twins of each other. Their plants are inverted though, you know, like
Okay.
you put the blueprints
And
and put
they're
them
on the
upside
back
down
of the
at the back.
property? Okay,
And 1840 is the one that's closer to Henderson Highway.
I see, thank you, okay. So the picture we had somewhere is probably showing 18 front building, okay. I need that river here, okay. That was my only question for the assessor, okay. Thank you, okay. Mr. Wasowski, when you're ready, please.
Okay, by way of preamble, the reason why I'm here, I just recently purchased this unit, and when I went on January 3rd to inquire about taxes, and I wanted to pay my tax bill in advance, they couldn't really nail down what it was gonna be. So I paid an estimate what the tax is gonna be, and I said I would like to appeal it because the difference between what I paid and what the assessment was a difference of $18,000. So they said I had to wait till my assessment for 2019 came out, which I did. They said I'd have to go to the revision board, but they don't take application for the revision board until I get the 2019 assessment. So it didn't change, which I should be thankful for, I suppose. And I went to the information office over there and said, okay, now that I've got this, can I talk to somebody in the taxation department so I can discuss this without having to go to the revision board to see if it's possible to get this assessment changed? And I was thinking if not for 2019, for 2020. And they said, no, you have to go to the revision board. So ta-da, here I am. Okay,
Okay,
just why I'm here.
sure.
First of all, I'd like to say I would really found it useful to know what the tax assessment roll value was on these comparable units. They've compared everything else except that. And the fact that they're not there, well, let's just say, I have a slight bit of suspicion about that. Okay, so everything's compared except stuff that might turn out to be in my favor. But I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just saying I'm suspicious. All right, let's go to this small page here, the short sheets there. The reason I brought that is to indicate that I in fact did pay $281,000 for this on January the 2nd. And the second page is just the first page of the land title transfer thing. What I forgot to ask Ms. Godez is whether or not the taxation department actually communicates with the provincial property land tax transfer payment unit so they can find out on an ongoing basis how much property is being sold for. I suspect they probably don't. That's one question I forgot to ask her.
Well, no, sure, Ms. Cortez will respond to that.
We do receive the LTO from land titles, yes.
Okay. Okay, so now what I understand, see, I brought you this report here, let's refer to this big one with the long copies here. This I was required to do when I approached my financial institution. They told me basically that based on a 2016 assessment that they, generally speaking, the condo market has dropped in Winnipeg in value for most condos, generally speaking, and they were hesitant to give me financing based on the city's assessment. So I was required to have this study done. They said they use this Red River group, so they did the study. And what they, as you see, is basically, I think what they've done is given the city assessor department something they can base their 2020 assessment on. It's a very intensive study. They've taken comparables that are very similar to yours, that are in the same building or buildings nearby, if you go to the back side of the third last page, they actually have the satellite view of where the comps are on the map. And they also have pictures of all the comps and so on. There's pictures of the building, etc. Basically, the bottom line is what they've done, and I was pretty impressed with this report. It's pretty comprehensive. What they've done was taken the comps and they've looked, for example, comparable number 1, 506 in the same building as me is 1,436 square feet. Okay, so what it sold for, they deducted $35,000 to make it more in line with me, because that's 1,436 square feet is obviously worth more than 1,164 square feet. They have 2 underground parking spots. That, they decided, is 1 extra spot is worth $15,000 more in today's market. The river view of 506 is spectacular. They can see all the way near from the bend towards, going towards Selkirk to past the Chief Peguis Bridge, because they are right on the river. I have what they call a partial view, which means I see what's south side of the building, and the view is nice in the winter. In the summertime, it's trees, because they're, believe it or not, there's trees that are 5 stories tall by the river there, and all you see is leaves basically when you're looking out the window in the summertime. I'm not complaining about that. It is a nice view. I'll give it that. So you can see that this is all adjusted. They adjusted the sales price, and they took this. All these things are taken into consideration of the comparables. How many square feet? You know, whether the balcony's enclosed or not. Actually, they all have enclosed balconies, so that's the same. And partial view, no view, great view. I'm considered what they call a partial view of the river.
Okay, you know what, Mr. Wasowski, I'm gonna, you sent through about 7 appeals today, I guess.
Okay.
And I think you've heard us refer to post-reference information.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I would appreciate it if they would consider using this report for my 2020 assessment.
yes.
Because this is, all these things are, if you look at the dates on this stuff,
No,
this is where I didn't realize, having not been able to, not told I could communicate with the tax department, I had no idea. I thought that this was gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm naive. you know?
no, it's a different system, and you learn by coming here and watching, hearing, that's for sure. I'm sure
Yeah, I
you
thought
learn
that,
a
you know,
lot.
common sense would enter into it, but there
I
are things
think
coming to do
maybe
it.
I'll allow Ms. Goddess to respond to your statement that they'll take into consideration your sale in 2017 and your appraisal in 2017.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not gonna go up for 2020, is what I'm
Ms. Goddess.
It's a mass appraisal, so it's based on all sales, not just one specific sale. So I can't tell you what the 2020 value is going to be at this time. If, when you get your notice, phone our department and talk to us before you appeal, and we'll
See, I was
look at
never,
it then.
I was never told that was an option.
At your point, when you did that, when you purchased it, it wasn't an option. We can't change the rule once it's been struck.
But this sale, your sale will be used in a pool of
Yes.
evidence to develop the 2020 assessments based on 2018 market value. So to address your concern, your sale will be considered
Yes.
to develop future
See,
assessments.
the thing is, from my point of view, is it's worth what I paid for it, and it's worth what the financial institutions are saying.
Yeah.
Okay, Ace, you're not getting more than $285,000 for this property. You know, it doesn't care. We don't care what the city thinks it's worth. It's like Austin Power saying $1 million. It's worth $1 million. But anyway, I digress. That's my concern, and I don't begrudge the city their tax money. I believe they should have been raising the taxes up a scooch every year over the last millennia. And what concerns me is that, unfortunately, and has got no control over you people, is that my school taxes are based on this assessment. So it's like double jeopardy. It's like kapow, kapow, a left and a right. You know what I'm saying? When you're paying too much in my estimation.
Yeah, what we deal with is the estimated market value of the property. And that's why the assessor brings market evidence, and that's why you bring your evidence too.
And that's why I'm looking at, this is the market value of the property,
Yeah.
because here it is.
Yeah, yeah. So for the record, you're asking the board to reduce it to
Yes.
$285,000?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I think that would be reasonable. I think I got a deal on it, okay?
okay.
But the credit union would have told me to take a hike if I wanted for more than that, so.
Okay, all right. Scott, has any questions of you?
No, I have nothing further, thank
Mr.
you.
Buss?
Did you do any investigations of market value before you purchased the property? You looked through the
Yeah, I've been
neighborhood
looking
of...
at condos for a number of years, and I particularly in those 3 buildings, because my wife had a friend that lived there, and we liked the location and everything, and we just bought this on a whim, actually. Once we knew what the going prices were, we looked for 2 years, and it depended, again, like was the view, just like it says here. It depended where it was in the building, how big it was, what the view was. This one we bought on an open house on a whim. It was a mistake, never go to an open house on a sunny day. It had the south view, the light was coming in, and the layout of the kitchen to the dining room to the living room was conducive to us still having Christmas for the family there, and being able to seat 22 people, just the way you could move the furniture around in just one continuous long table. And we said, this has to, if we're gonna buy a condo, it's gonna have to be this one. So, yeah, there was another sale on there, but a bunch of caveats on it that fell through, so we were given the opportunity to purchase, so I actually offered $1,000 more than I probably knew I could have got it for, because I wanted to make sure. And I said, no caveats, no attachments, no conditions. I'm giving you $1,000 more than the last person offered, and I got it. So that's the way this one works, so.
Is your building more desirable than 1840 in terms of location?
I'm gonna be honest, now, 1840, yeah. Well, 1840 is the one that's adjacent to Henderson, and I would say yes. 1840 is not the same as the other 2 buildings. 1840, I have the sense that the shapes of the units are different. They're not, it's not the same building plan as the other 2. They had to generally shrink or change the shape. I don't know if it's got the building's got the square footage land print or not, but they've changed the shape of the building, and it is not the same as the other 2 buildings. And I would consider it a less desirable building than the 1850 or the 1820. Yes, I would say that.
Thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Buss. Ms. Frank?
Yes, I just have a question, and I'm wondering, you had indicated that something about the square footage of your condo?
Yeah, it's only 1,164 square feet, and that's what the condo corporation's condo fees are based on. That's what the percentage ownership of the building's based on. There's basically, on my floor, I believe there's 3 different suite sizes, and there's 2 that are 1164 and 2 that are 1172, and the other ones are, where are we here? I think it's 1,400. Let's see, one of the other ones. 1,436 square feet of the other 2, so that's just the way they were built. It's just stacked, they're all stacked on each other, so.
Okay, so it's 1164.
Yes, and that's the percentage I'm paying my ownership, that's what my ownership's based on and what my condo fees are based on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I have no questions. Leave it with us, Mr. Wasilewski, and you'll hear from us shortly, okay?
Okay, thank you, it's been enlightening.
Yes, I'm sure.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the right info, what I should have done some of, but that wouldn't have helped me, okay, so I just, this is for the future, I'm looking to the future. on
Yeah,
this.
that's right, you're right.
All right, okay,
All right.
thank you, and it's because of the stupid school taxes mostly. Okay.
All right, leave it with us, you're here from us in a
Thank
couple
you.
of weeks,
Thank you.
okay? Thanks. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take a quick recess.
Well, let's just do the rec, so Heather can be on her
Mr.
way.
Buss, do you
maybe?
have to go right now? Sorry? Otherwise I have to recess.
Okay. no
Yeah.
recess.
4 minutes tops, I bet.
Okay.
Okay, so Ms. Guttis, we've got, first is a recommendation on 245 Wellington Crescent, Unit 402. Would you
Yeah.
mind giving us the reason for that recommendation? for the
To
record?
reduce the assessment from 227,000 to 200,000 to better reflect the market value as of April 1st, 2016. This was
Okay.
accepted by the homeowner
And it's-
via phone.
Okay.
Which one next?
Just bear with me 1 second, I've got to write this down. Here, are you getting,
I am.
are you getting this okay?
Yep.
Okay, that concludes 245 Wellington Crescent, Unit 402. Next recommendation is 74 Carlton Street, Unit number 4.
Yes, this is to reduce the assessment from 212,000 to 180,000 to better reflect the market value as of April 1st, 2016. And that was accepted from the homeowner by phone conversation.
All right, thank you. recommendation is 200 Tuxedo Avenue, Unit 703.
This is to reduce the assessment from 300,000 to 255,000 to better reflect the condition of the property. That recommendation was neither accepted nor rejected. I never heard back from the homeowner.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what the new value is gonna be?
255.
255,000 based on current condition.
Great.
Thank you. And last recommendation is 160 Tuxedo Avenue, Unit
Sorry,
403, sorry. Okay.
To reduce the assessment from 331 to 280,000 to better reflect the condition of the property. That was accepted by the homeowner per telephone conversation.
Sorry, what was the value?
It is now 280,000.
280?
Yes.
Okay, and accepted. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Perez. That concludes our hearing.
Well, that was a long one.